very tight.
Yes. Okay, so I think the one thing that my opponent and I can agree on is that our health is very important. And I know some of you are wondering, why should I care about this? It's just food. I can, make my own decisions. But your health is worth it, so you should be listening to what I'm saying right now. And most importantly, you shouldn't let her scare you into thinking that if you don't want to, die, you absolutely have to vote yes on this. Here are the facts. Prop 37, it's, to put it delicately, it's just full of crap. I mean, if you think about it, how many of you actually understand what it's saying? I mean, on the surface, people are telling you, you'll be having your food labeled. But what does that mean? What is genetically modified food? If I asked you to identify these terms, like, for example, in vitro nucleic acid, can any of you define that for me? How about recombinant deoxyribonucleic, problast fusion? These things sound like they're from another planet. But these are the words that came from Prop 37. They're listed in the actual proposition, and if you don't understand what these mean, how can you say that you have a right to know? If you think you have a right to know, then you obviously have an obligation to understand what it is we're talking about. Misinformation is very dangerous, and I'd like to demonstrate. I'd like to talk to you about a chemical. It's called oxidane. Oxidane has a lot of properties. It causes erosion in our landscape. It's used to create nuclear power. It causes burns in some forms, and if you inhale it, you will die. How many of you are scared right now? Of death, let's just say. Okay, well, this is oxidane, right here. On that table there, that's oxidane. In every bottle that you're drinking, as long as you're drinking water, because that's what it is. I'm not lying to you, this is the chemical name for water. And that's exactly what Prop 37 is saying. They're saying be terrified of something that you don't really understand. But that's all hinged on knowing that genetically modified food is bad for you. And most consumers don't know that. Even scientists and specialists like biologist Dr. Kevin Folter said, why is it any different for one gene to be altered when all the food we're eating has been through radiation, it's been through cross-pollination? It's all the same thing. How is it different when we alter one gene as opposed to 50,000 genes at the same time? We don't know what that's causing, but you've been eating it for the last 90 years. Not a whole lot of people have been dying from corn, so just saying. Now, misinformation is what I really believe Prop 37 is about. Take this water, for example. Not only were all of you fooled by this, a city in Southern California in Orange County called Aliso Vieja was also fooled by this. On their city council, according to an LA Times article, on the city council, they put a line that says, let's ban styrofoam made from oxidane. An entire city council fell for this. It's just water. I mean, this is how dangerous misinformation really is. And it's not just you not knowing what it is. Here's the thing. If we start labeling all the food that's genetically modified, what about the exceptions? Do you as a consumer assume, as long as it doesn't have a label, it's not genetically modified? Well, that's not true. According to the actual text of the proposition, there are exceptions. Fast food doesn't have to be labeled. Restaurant food doesn't have to be labeled. Some meats, some, drinks like milk and wine and cheese, and these are all things we all eat, isn't it? So what do? Do you assume it's not genetically modified and then you're wrong, and, if my opponent is right, then you're all going to die from it? Now, lastly, I'd like to say that it's partially redundant. If you honestly believe, and I'm just going to quickly point out, there are two studies, one that says it's bad for you and it's going to cause gigantic tumors, and that's the Seralini study, and I actually read the study, and that's what I'm quoting now. The Los Angeles Times called it insufficient. Basically, they said it's full of crap. And the second journal said that there are no health risks, and it's still from the same article. I trust the Los Angeles Times. They don't tend to lie to me to my face. But anyway, as I was saying, if you still believe these, if you refuse to listen to the science behind all this, here are your options. Buy certified organic. It's not genetically modified, it's clearly labeled, and the rest of us don't have to pay for it. Thank you.
Okay. So first of all, we have to give our consumers the benefit of the doubt. We're not stupid. We would want to be treated like we're stupid. We would be able to start to educate people with these labels. It's a start towards positive action. I mean, if we can get these labels out, we can no longer hide information from our consumers, and it would be accessible to everyone. And I feel like there's a lot of organic companies that don't want this information to be let out for whatever reason that might be. Information is just that, it's information. It can't be harmful. It's putting information out there for people to have access to. Also, studies are flawed. There's no conclusive evidence either way saying that it's good for you or bad for you, because we can't test on humans. We are in the process of testing on humans, but who wants to be the guinea pig? I know I don't. My health is my right, and it's everybody else's right.
Okay, well, here's my problem. I understand that, you don't want to be tested on, and like I said, go ahead, eat organic food. But I'm not scared, because I read the studies, and, as someone who's been studying biology, I really am not that concerned. It's no different than the other food that you're eating. Allergy concerns, really? Have you ever seen the labels, that warn you that things may have nuts? It's so vague. It says, this may have at some point been in the same location that a nut may or may not have been there. How is that helping you? I mean, are you going to eat everything that says, maybe does it kill you, but maybe it's just a snack? But, it's up to you. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Companies will, go to any lengths to avoid actually having to tell you things. So here's my proposition. You go out there and you say, I'd like to give some money to the Department of Energy, who will actually tell you, they have a genome project that will actually tell you what genetically modified things are. That'll educate you, and that'll tell you what you should and should not eat. Thank you.